Welcome back to Call of the Father. I know it's been, I guess this will be 3 weeks since I did one. That's the longest I've gone, but just have some things going on in my head, in my heart, and in my life, and just trying to navigate those things. So is what it is. I'm not going to say I'm sorry because I kind of took some time to focus on me, and there are a couple things I wanted to get to the bottom of in my head and in my heart, and then and I'll get to that in a minute. But with work, I started this new job, and it's been, overwhelming. It's good. There's a lot of good. It seems like a really good company, and I feel blessed and I'm happy, and there's some good and bad things, but mostly good from what I can see, and the things that I would say are bad, I just don't know yet. Just kind of see how I handle it and see how it goes. But where I came from, I've been doing what I do for about 12 years and worked at 2 companies in that time. And where I came from, I thought I was pretty top shelf for my position where I was at, and there were a lot of people. I'd say I was in the top 5%, and then this company took a chance on me, and I guess they liked something about me, and they hired me, and I go in there thinking, okay, I'm pretty good at this, and this will be good. And man, they've got a lot of stuff I haven't worked with before, and then a lot more computer side, getting into programming of things, and it's basically rocket science. It's pretty intense, and I've wanted to learn some of the things I'm learning now. I've wanted to learn for a long time. I thought that'd be the way to go, but it's pretty overwhelming. And as I look at all the people doing my job where I'm at, I'm like, geez, they're all brilliant. Really, like, they would be top 5% where I came from, and then some. And it's been a lot. Anyway, they're feeding me with a fire hose, and it's been a lot to take in and a lot to try to digest. And they tell me it could take a couple years, is very likely, to really get up to speed at this place, and that's what they expect. They expect that it'll take a while. They know that. So it's good. They're patient. We'll see how this goes, but like I said, pretty overwhelming. It's been occupying my head. It's coming home on the way home. It's just been like, turn the radio off, and I just want silence and let my brain cells recover. Anyway, that, and then personal things. I'm gonna have to move in order to make the commute work. Right now it's longer, so just some things on my mind, and I don't know exactly what I'm doing yet. I'm just making this up as I go, as I always say. So we'll see what happens. I'm looking at houses and just haven't seen the right thing. I'll know when I know. I don't have to make an immediate decision, so I do have that. Anyway, and one other thing that I'm going to get into this. This feels a little bit vulnerable. If you've heard my hallway analogy of healing and personal growth, I think it's pretty good. I've mentioned it on the podcast here a couple times, I think, or if you heard my interview, if you happen to be on the page and heard my interview with Lisa Romano, I talked about it on there, and it's pretty accurate. And when I say that you reach the end of one hallway and you're done cleaning that one out and you feel good and you feel like that's it, and that's kind of where I've been a little bit, and it kind of feels boring for a minute in a way, and you feel like what's next, but you feel like you're good. And in one particular area, I guess I started to feel like I think I'm healed, and I think I'm ready for a relationship, and so then I'm looking for it, and I think that's not the way that it works, really. And I've realized some things. I had to stop and take a minute and spend some quiet time with myself, and kind of gather my heart back up, my mind, and just figure out where I'm at. Have some real honest conversations with myself about where I'm really at. And sometimes when you've done a lot of work, it feels like you focus so much on healing and you feel like, well, I think I'm good and I think I'm there. And then kind of almost feels numb for a little bit, like there isn't really anything to feel emotional about too much, and good or bad. And even that can feel a little bit boring. But then, anyway, so, I mean, there is a girl that I kind of had a little crush on. She's been taking up some real estate rent-free in my mind for a while. And and when I say a while, it's been a few months, really, that it comes and goes. And I don't know, there's just some really cool things about her, some things I really like. But if timing's not right, then it's probably not right. And that kind of seems like the case. And it's easy for me to want to look at it and think, timing's not right for her. I'm all good and timing's not right for her. But the more I've kind of sat with this and tried to investigate where I'm really at and what's going on here, I just realized maybe timing's not right for me either. There's some things that have come to my attention that I feel like I need to work on and heal. And like I said, this feels a little vulnerable to talk about, but I'm going to share it because I realize it. I don't know. And it's not like it's a secret. It's a little vulnerable and a little bit, it's where I'm at. And it doesn't feel the best. So in case you're wondering, I know I don't have it all figured out. And sometimes our ego wants to get involved and believe we got it all figured out. I still don't. That's life, and that's just healing and growing. So there'll always be more stages and just things that come up. I don't know, just little micro stages. And so what's going on is I started thinking about, and I was listening to a podcast that I really love. So if you're into this stuff, or the healing and personal growth, I'll just recommend it. I think it's one of my favorites right now. I always love Alyssa Romano, but I found Alyssa Nobriga, and her podcast is Healing and Human Potential. And oh my gosh, the conversations she has a lot of interviews on there with some really intelligent and well-spoken people that they just really flow, and the things that they've been through and the realizations that they've come to. It's a pretty incredible podcast. So if you're into this, highly recommend it. Healing and Human Potential. Anyway, I was listening to her podcast and some things came up. She's talking to a couple ladies about relationships and romantic relationships a little bit. Just getting into a lot of stuff, healing things. And anyway, the idea came up. One of the girls was talking about that she had to heal her father wound, and that, I think where she was kind of going with it was, she was saying that we all have feminine and masculine energy. It's a balance, and I'm a man and I want to be masculine, and I want to believe that I'm mostly masculine. Hopefully I'm 80%. I think that's maybe most of the time. But I definitely can recognize that I do go into some feminine energy sometimes, and that's not a bad thing, at being in touch with my emotions, and that's something I've had to learn to do. Anyway, what she talked about, healing her stuff with her father so that she could be in a relationship. She said where she was kind of at a point where at one point she wanted so bad to have a boyfriend, But then she had to be honest with herself. She hated men. Those are her words. I think she said, I hated men, and she held all these grudges for things she'd experienced. And as I heard that, I kind of felt like, I don't know how much I'd say I hate women, but there's definitely some things I got to deal with there. And what she talked about that energy, that masculine energy, she went into that to heal her things with her dad, and then she aligned things and felt more like she could just associate with men and not have those deep down grudges. And in some ways I feel like that's where I'm at, and I feel like it comes from a lot of things with my mom. I did never feel loved and connected with her the way that I wanted, and that's something that's very important in childhood for a kid to feel those things. There's so many things we depend on our parents for when we're kids, that if they give us those things and we get the things that we need, by giving them to us, they teach us to do that for ourselves. And that's kind of where I'm realizing I'm at. Basically, I haven't talked to my mom in years, and that'll probably continue, but I'm realizing how I need to find a different level of forgiveness toward her. That doesn't mean I got to talk to her. Talking to her, like I know enough to know that it's pretty toxic. It's a pretty toxic dynamic, and I don't know. I'm not going to block it out for the whole future, but it just doesn't seem like something that I want in my life and want to associate with that kind of energy. To me, what was going on there was just not good for me, and that's okay. Anyway, but there's deep down, there's wounds there, a mother wound that I didn't get the love from her that I wanted. And so I've sought that my whole life. And one of the little patterns, here comes a little bit of the vulnerability. It sucks to admit this, and I'm admitting it out loud. Maybe that helps step up, level up here. But I realize that I've always sought to be in a relationship, even when I've been single. Then I got married. I was married for 15 years, but seeking to have, in that marriage, seeking to have her meet those needs that were never met as a child, kind of in a mother role, in a way. I don't think that's fair to her to have to play two roles, mother and lover. That's not, and partner, it's just not fair. And it's not healthy on my part. And that's not what I want moving forward. I'm thankful for where I'm at, thankful for everything that's taken place, and that it was a catalyst for me to seek healing and seek this path of personal growth and just keep going in life. I'm just really blessed. I'm blessed to be able to see these things. Sometimes it takes a minute, but I'm going to just keep going and keep going through life. Anyway, another aspect of it is that I realized as a single man what I've done often, and even now I've recognized this. Thought I was healed, thought I'm doing pretty good. Man, I could have been in a bad situation fairly easily if I got into a relationship, possibly. Maybe not. I think I'll recognize a lot of red flags, but maybe all the red flags aren't outside of me. Maybe some of those red flags are inside of me. And that's what I'm recognizing, that one of the things that I do when I'll see a woman, and it's got to be, for me, she's got to be physically attractive for me to be interested. I always say it's not her physical appearance and looks aren't the most important thing, but they are absolutely the first important thing to me. I'm a man, I'm visually that's the way I work, and that's the way most men work. Our first thing is visual. If I like what I'm looking at, something's cute about her, then I'm wanting to know the next thing. But I've just noticed in those situations, I see a cute girl, I'm always thinking, is she going to be the one? I'm always like, is she going to be the one that'll love me and never leave? Is she going to be the one that I can attach to? And then there's a neediness that comes into that at times, and I don't know. It's just I've recognized that I believe I'm still not healed, and what I'm recognizing is that as long as I'm looking for that relationship and looking for trying to find somebody that will meet my needs, I'm not gonna attract the right thing. And what was the saying I heard the other day? It said, we don't attract what we want, or the universe doesn't bring us what we want. It brings us what we are. We attract what we are. And yeah, I think that what I need to do now is basically take time to just actually love myself and not be looking for that. Because it's something I've struggled with my whole life. Self-care, just taking care of myself. I always take care of other people, my kids. And I don't think there's not much that they want for, and maybe that's not all good either, but I'm doing what I can to take care of them, and I just don't often take care of myself. Last night I came home and I thought I had this feeling, it's been there. I keep thinking, man, I got to record a podcast. I want to keep putting these out, and it's healing for me. Don't get me wrong. I hope that this is helping you if you're listening. I really hope it's helping people. And I know that it's helping a few. I've just seen where people well, I don't see names or anything, but I can see cities, and I know that it's most likely the same people keep listening. Like there's somebody in like Nampa, Idaho, and there's several cities in Florida, and there's some Switzerland. There's even people in other countries, and those cities keep popping up. Thank you for listening. I really appreciate it. I hope it's helping you. But the point I'm going to make is that I'm kind of doing this for me, and I think in a way that it needs to be my focus. It's almost a online or a audio journal of sorts for now, and it helps me to lay out my thoughts this way. It's still healing to me. So last night I came home and I wanted to record, and I ended up cooking for one. My kids are gone to their moms this week, and I ended up cooking for myself, my favorite meal. And I could count on one hand the number of times I've actually cooked for myself in my life. And I might not even need all 5 fingers to get there. I just don't do that for myself. And I made my favorite meal for myself, and it was amazing. And then I got up this morning and was headed to work, and I got this commute for now, and I was listening to that podcast, and I was like, oh my gosh, like just everything I was feeling. I was feeling my heart space kind of been numb for a couple weeks here, and just in no man's land. That's okay. So I always know when I'm in the heart space to record, and so I felt like I'm there tonight, and that's what I'm focusing on. Tonight I got home and went for a run, went for a 5-mile trail run, and that felt really nice. And just gonna try to focus on not looking for anything outside of myself, and try to actually really focus on loving myself, loving my inner child. I believe if I'm seeking that, then it's my inner child is in there just crying out, saying, man, I've never had what I wanted, and let's look for it. But when I'm looking outside of myself, I'm never going to find the answer to what I missed in childhood outside of myself. When I find it within me, that's when I'm leveling up. That's when I'm healing. And that's probably when at some point I'll attract the right thing and it'll be healthy and I'll just be like, wow, where did this come from, But who knows? I'm not going to worry about that right now. Just kind of focus on taking care of myself. The other thing is when I'm focused on finding something outside of myself or someone outside of myself to meet these unmet needs, these childhood needs, I know for a fact that, I talked about energy before, and I guarantee, I really feel like women are just energy radar units, and they can just feel you. I guarantee it. One time, this is a funny story. I was feeling really good about myself. I'd been doing a lot of healing and working on some things, and even just body language. Yeah, believe it or not, I've even studied body language just to feel better about myself. And anyway, one day I was walking in the grocery store when I've been working on all this stuff, and I was going down the main aisle, and all of a sudden, I promise, this woman felt my energy before she saw me. I can't even explain it without video. You'd had to been there. But she came around the corner, all of a sudden she felt the energy and sensed it, and almost like she's in a rush. Her eyes went up, and she almost ran into me with her cart. She's like, "Hi!" And I was I was almost chuckling inside. I was like, "Hi!" And I kept going, but it was weird. Anyway, so I feel like women are energy radar units, and in a lot of ways, I don't know, you can't really fool a woman. So when I'm needy in that way, looking for somebody to meet my needs, I'm not meeting my own needs. I feel like most women pick up on that energy, and the way that they pick up on it, I really believe, is that they've got their protection on too, and what they're thinking is, this guy wants to take something from me, and I don't want to be a taker. Like somebody that I've listened to quite a bit, something he often says, I'm not going to mention his name for some specific reasons, but he often says, and especially with relationships, being a man and going into interactions with women, he's saying, be a go-giver and give them good energy. Don't go into it trying to take something. And so I really believe when I'm in that process of trying to spot and find and secure a relationship or somebody that's going to meet my unmet childhood needs, I really believe I'm coming with an energy that they pick up on, and it says, I want something from you. And I don't want to be that guy. I want to want to give something more than receive. And that's the funny fallacy of codependency, is that you really believe you're a giver, and in a lot of ways you are, but I've talked before also about the intentions of the heart. That's a big deal. And you can be on the surface a giver, but the intentions of your heart are, you're not giving without strings attached when you're codependent. You're giving to take. You're expecting to get your needs met, and it's strings attached. And I don't know. I think the right women, the ones that would be healthy, pick up on this energy, and they call bullshit in their mind. They probably let me off light, but I think they pick up on that. So I want to be a go-giver in the right way. Give good energy just because that's what I want to do. Just like that's what I'm trying to do with this podcast. I hope you're benefiting because I'm giving and giving to myself. And I just believe that'll attract the right people into my life, and healthy people, and I'll align with them, and they won't feel like I'm trying to take something from them. And I don't want to be trying to take something from them. So trying to just focus on that and get to where I'm really honed in on loving and taking care of myself and my inner child, meeting his needs and just helping him. I guess the thing I want to say is that it's just not too late to heal. It's never too late to heal. I'm old now. I'll be 50 this year, and yeah, it's just not too late. I'm working on this, and even though I've got 40 some years of bad programming and living in that program, the more you run those programs, the more that's what's familiar. This is hard work. I'm working on it, and anyway, this is the next thing. I feel like I just opened a new door to a whole new hallway, and I'm like, I'm going to start opening these doors. I'm going to clean those rooms out and clean out the stench from my own crap. And if I ever am in a relationship, I just hope to bring just good energy to her and be able to give her something that I've never been able to give in a relationship because I've worked on these things. Anyway, I guess that's enough for this episode, but thank you for listening, and we'll see when I put the next one out. I'm going to focus on me, but this is part of it too. Thank you. Have a great week.